the yearning pure.
Yeah.
Pure. Just not
Pure.
not for anything in particular. The moment it's for something, what our mind tells us, that is terrible. That's, but the yearning, just the actual energy of yearning. Like, how's that?
It just feels like when I think about the yearning, then comes the beauty.
Ah, okay, so that's what I'm saying. The yearning pure is no problem.
No. Yeah.
It's only when it gets tangled up with an object.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of Raman's poems to the mountain, he wrote these love poems to the Arunachala. He said, look, thank you for taking me in and showing me and all this. But then there's one verse that I've always found interesting, where he says, and thank you so much for letting me feel sometimes a little bit separate from you so that I can yearn for you. Wow.
Yeah.
That's my man,
Yeah. But in the yearning is also a lot of love, It's sort of love going backwards and forwards.
Yeah. And thanking the mountain for that too, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you pass?
You just said that people that want to feel secure or safe are not safe to be around.
Yes.
And that's what happened. Though I can identify very strong, and it goes back to where you started with her about the not being able to say yes or no clearly.
Yeah.
Though these parents that wanted to be safe, you were not allowed to say just clearly yes or no.
Yes.
And then you numb yourself, and it becomes an existential fear almost.
Yeah, it becomes a mess, yeah.
And so that's what, for me, what I'm learning all the time already for decades almost, is just finding back the feeling when it's yes and when it's no.
No, yeah.
And it's still connected with fear.
Yeah.
And I just have to be in the fear to say yes or no.
Yeah.
And that's blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah. 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 So in a way, within any interest, there's a learning. Like if you have an interest in riding a bike or playing the piano.
Right.
Or yeah. Yeah. As far as I can see, all of those are infinite. You can never get... If you love playing the piano, you'll be playing it till your last breath, and you'll still be learning, yeah? Isn't it? Same with painting, same with gardening, same with treating each other beautifully.
Yeah.
It's not about getting to some end point where, man, now I'm Saint Isaac and, Ever after, yeah. It's like, it's infinite, And will learning continue? With luck, Yeah.
I've been the last 2 months I've been kind of teasing in a Advaita Vedanta group on Facebook. They hate my guts. But there people...
I think I love
I'm called arrogant, selfish, whatever. And I was just a bit pushing. But people through the... Apparently it wasn't safe to ask questions there for people that knew what I was talking about, and they came through the chat.
Okay.
So I had private conversations. In the end, it was almost working. But someone said, hey, you apparently have seen something or it, and you still seem to be searching. How can this be? There is this idea when you have seen it, it stops. man, for me it's just starting and starting and starting.
Yeah, and then it
It's
also
fantastic.
becomes, it's funny because what is called seeking? I mean, this interest. Let's make a distinction here. The difference between an interest and a search.
Yeah, I understand.
It's vastly different, isn't it?
Mm.
And so often an interest gets confused with searching. Yeah, it just is an interest. It can keep fulfilling itself, It's like you have an interest in sailing. Do you ever become such a master sailor that you never got more to learn? I don't think so.
But there is this confusion about seeking,
Yeah.
that it's an interest that stops the moment you get enlightened.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if it's interesting. There's this Andrew Cohen who disappeared because it was the biggest ego that thought he wasn't. Now he... And just 2 months ago, he popped up again and he wrote a letter to his ex-students. And actually, I was totally surprised. He says that he wrote in a book that he was convinced that when someone became enlightened, the personal development would stop. And that's how he has behaved for 20 years. And now he wrote that for the rest of his life he is going to prove that even gurus with a big ego can develop. So I hear the same ego speaking, but he doesn't know yet. But this is for the insiders, sorry. Maybe a bit.
The universe has an immense sense of humor. Just look around at us, You don't have to look far, yeah.